The number of inmates identifying as transgender has increased in UK prisons. That's according to a new survey by the Chief Inspector of Prisons there. It's estimated up to 1,500 inmates in the UK do identify as transgender or transsexual, although that is 4 times the national average in Britain. But authorities suspect that some prisoners have an ulterior motive. They suggest that the more relaxed regime for transgender prisoners is prompting some to change their sexual identification. Transgender inmates are allowed to shower in private, for example, and also have a greater chance of being allocated a separate cell. Transgender offenders can also choose whether to go to a male or female prison. This has raised problems, though, in the past. Last year, for example, a man who identified as a trans woman, Karen White, was placed in a female prison but then sexually assaulted other inmates. The UK's Ministry of Justice apologised for what happened. Peter Tatchell, a human rights activist, and Luke Gittos, a lawyer and columnist, shared their thoughts on the issue.
If we start diluting a women's prison as a space for specifically women, then I think that does raise serious questions about how we protect women's spaces in wider society.
We don't want to take away places from women, but I think, the Ministry of Justice should be funding the creation of new specialist transgender wings in prisons, which are just for transgender prisoners, where they are comfortable, where they're not threatened.
I think we need to be extremely wary of that, because I'm afraid that if you are going to find people who will take advantage of a prison, and I say this someone who works with prisoners every day, it will be prisoners who will use this to their best advantage, because a lot of them frankly have nothing to lose in doing so.
Obviously, we do need to be aware of the tiny minority who may do bad things, but that doesn't mean to say that we should therefore generalise and therefore adopt a knee-jerk reaction to limit the rights of transgender people.
I don't think that we consider the women in the women's estate enough in this debate, and I think that that's the problem with housing people who might still be biologically male in a female prison.
If you create a prison environment where transgender people are happy and safe, where women are happy and safe, then you reduce the consequential problems that have big cost implications.
I think it's going to be very difficult, for the reasons you suggest, to reformulate the prison estate around the claims of transgender people. We need to make sure we're robust in our treatment of this and don't allow ourselves to take all claims as to transgenderism at face value, especially when it comes to prisoners in a male estate who stand to make material gains from doing so.
I think there's a way of ensuring that transgender prisoners and women in women prisons are both protected, that their rights are both respected and protected, and that we can find a situation where trans people can serve their time, in prison without threatening anybody else. And that is why, as I said, I think the best way to go is in terms of dedicated trans segregation units for trans people in prisons.